Hello YouTube, this is Christian coming to you with another quick review. This time I have chosen a Vertex bag as the subject of this review, and this particular bag is a Commuter 2.0. It's now an obsolete model. They do have a newer version which has a couple of features more, especially they now included kind of a lycra pouch on the left side if you're looking at it from the front, that enables you to carry a water bottle externally, which is a great feature. But this bag I got in a sale out, and I couldn't resist. Usually not the kind of bag I'm going for. I really like the tactical style for its versatility in terms of molly webbing, but recently I've also been exploring options in terms of a more civil looking carry solution for my day-to-day work, and for the price I think it was roughly about $80. I think the new version retails somewhere around 200 odd something dollars. So for me, living in New Zealand, plus shipping, that gets rather expensive over time, and this was available locally, so I just said, hey, give it a go. Now these bags, Vertex, they don't usually come up in the discussion forums, or they're not usually subject to my explorations. I'm leaning towards Maxpedition, Vanquest, 511, this kind of stuff, Hazard 4, maybe Condor, perhaps one or two items, Tasmanian Tiger, and this is a little bit off the beaten track. But this kind of surprises me a little bit. This bag specifically is for concealed carry. Now, that's a topic that comes up every now and then if I review a bag, because a lot of these American-made bags or designed in the USA bags feature a concealed carry pocket. And some of them are well done, some of them are not so well done in my humble opinion, but this one is extremely well done. I don't want to dive into concealed carry all too much, mostly because I live in New Zealand, and this and concealed carry just isn't a thing around here. So this bag, however, is big enough. Handgun, I can't believe I'm even saying that. Everyday carry, a submachine gun, or even a small rifle, a carbine or something along these lines, a short 12-inch AR-15 would fit in the bag. I can't for the life of me imagine to live in a world where I would everyday carry an AR-15 or a submachine gun, or live in a place where that is even legally possible. But this bag accommodates that, and for me that has not been the issue, not the reason for buying it, obviously, but it has a number of features in it that kind of make it interesting to look at. And this bag is also a sling bag, which I personally prefer. It's just really easy. There's a couple of issues with that one in that respect, and I'd like to address those a little bit later on. But for now, let's just go straight into it, have a look at the bag. Now, this version, and I believe the later version, they come in a variety of color schemes. Some more attractive than others. I guess this one was the last left over, so it wasn't very popular. I personally didn't mind the color choice. It's blue and an orange, and I'm okay with that. In terms of fabrics used, this is a nylon polyurethane mix, so it is kind of water repellent. Well, I would say a little bit more than water repellent. I would say the membrane itself is waterproof almost. Obviously at the seams and at the zippers you lose that, but other than that it's a fairly weatherproof bag by comparison to what I've seen from Vanquest or from Maxpedition or 511. So that's a plus. Also, you see most of the zippers are actually reversed, which helps with your dust protection. So this bag overall comes in at 17 liters, or at least that is the manufacturer's claim. I believe this bag is substantially bigger. So if you just put it next to, let's say, this is a Vanquest Katara. which apparently is 16 liters. I think there's something not quite right with that either, but and I've been carrying the Katara 16 for a fair bit, and I can tell you I can almost pack as much as twice as much into this commuter bag than I can pack into this one. So take it with a grain of salt. I've been surprised by the size I've been getting from VanQuest on a number of occasions, because it just kind of doesn't mesh with what I'm seeing from other manufacturers. Now this is probably a bit more than 17 liters. It is kind of perhaps a little bit on the more generous side, whereas the VanQuest is a little bit overrated in terms of size, I believe. But this is subject to confirmation. I can't say anything definite about it. I haven't done any water bladder measurements or anything along these lines. But back to this bag. Now some interesting features. Let's go over the outside. We already talked about the zippers on the front and the color choices. It is a bag that is geared towards opening and accessing the bag while it's actually on your body. So you swing the sling around your body, you have it right in front of you, very similar in terms of position as what I'm holding it now, and this allows you to access the front pocket, not the small ledge at the front there, and the rear concealed carry compartment. They include a nice padded carry handle on this side, and they also have a strap up here where you can carry the bag or hang the bag if that is your choice, because this bag will need some way of suspending because it will tip over. It's not a stand-up bag. On top of that, you can see in this area here they have a rubberized section which also serves as a carry handle. Coming to the front flap, if you want to call it that, you have your loop section here for your patches or whatever you like to do, name tags, and then there is a quick access latch here, and you just pull on this latch and that reveals your front pocket. Now this is rather interesting. It is pretty much an undercover Pelz webbing to attach your MOLLE accessories, which is a nice feature. I really like that, and it gives you the option to hide your Pelz webbing, your versatility requirements away, and make it look less tactical. Okay, granted, I mean, in terms of color choices, I'm not sure, even if you looked at it that way, whether it would look all too tactical at all. It's usually not military style if it's that bright, so I personally wouldn't have any issue with that. If you choose to use the bag in this case, let's say you want really fast access to your Pelz webbing, what you can do, they integrated a bit of excuse me, hook and loop here, and that allows you to take that front flap and stow it away just in there under the Pelz webbing. And well, I suppose my patches now come in the way because that will close up nicely if I removed them, but this gives you now the versatility to attach something to it. And as you can see by the orientation, it is also geared towards holding your MOLLE accessories accessible from that side when the bag is actually sitting right in front of you. And I think that's a nice touch. Personally, I believe for this kind of scenario I would have preferred it this way. Just have the Pelz webbing oriented 90 degrees, because for me that would be the perfect place to attach some kind of molly bottle holder or something along these lines that could then happily live under that front ledge, which is still something I might be doing, just going with a 90-degree conversion on the Pelz webbing. And as a little extra, what you also get is that loop section there, and that is in this particular case also my preferred choice for attaching something. It's just some improvised Velcro straps in here to hold a pouch on that, and all it needs to do really is hold it in place. Since I'm not planning to keep it that way, I'm rather using it that way. So my pouch can happily live under there, and if I need to access it while carrying the bag, I can rip it away quite easily due to the hook and loop, and that works a charm. You can see up here you have another hook and loop patch there that just attaches in here and kind of secures the top bit under that cover. That's rather nice. Now on top of that, you have on the underside of these zippers, you can see they have integrated these buttons, and you can, I'm not sure if I can actually show you that, but down there there's a button to go with that, the other half of that button, and you can actually lock that down as to prevent anybody from just ripping that open, let's say on an airport or on a subway station where you don't want anybody to pull on that latch. And that, surprisingly, very securely keeps the bag closed. So that's that side of it. This front ledge also offers you storage expansion. And you can see around here they're integrated 2 G-hooks, and they latch into those side areas here. They're expandable, and so that becomes a nice storage solution if, for instance, you want to take your jacket and carry it with your bag. You don't want to put it inside. It can quite happily just sandwich under that front ledge. Or if you're going with a bike and you need a place for your bike helmet when you get off the bike, or if you're really using that for concealed carry, as I suppose most people will do who buy that bag, of course you have to carry your helmet as well, and that will fit in here quite nicely. Alright, so that's a really neat feature, an elegant solution I would say, and I think it's greatly done. It becomes relatively apparent as well that it is a rather well-made bag. So in terms of stitching and workmanship on this bag, I can already say I won't have a lot of complaints. It's all done very neatly and tidily, so that's good. Carrying on to the back side of the bag, you do get a pass-through. So this padded section here for your rolly luggage, your trolley, if you're traveling on the airports a lot, is a welcome feature. And they do have that foam insert on the back to give you a little bit of padding and ventilation, and I think that works well. The most important bit for me is really the sling, and the sling is nice and wide, and it is nice and long. And these are 2 features for anybody who likes sling bags, is an important feature. Side by side to the Katara, in this case this has been configured as a sling bag. You can also use it as a backpack, but you can make out straight away what a difference there is in terms of length, and that is a compromise you have with the VanQuest backpacks in terms of sling capabilities. The shoulder strap is just a tad short and a tad narrow. In this case, it's nicely padded. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit wider, and I would appreciate if I actually had pulse webbing on the strap for accessories such as a phone holder. But in this case, what they offer is rather generous webbing, and you do have a little bit of a pass-through, and that Hypalon patch there perhaps could be styled to be a molly attachment point. But overall it's very comfortable to wear, and I have no concerns and no complaints about the comfortability of that one. So that's good. And you can also, on this side, if you choose to use a platter, you have a pass-through for your drinking platter, and that can pass through the top loop here, which is a bit of elastic strap, and through that Hypalon loop all the way to where you need it, so that's functional and good. They also include a rather generously dimensioned buckle for releasing the sling peg. That is all well executed, it's good quality hardware, there's no complaints there. And just as I'm saying it, the G-hooks on the other side for your expansion compartment has nice metal G-hooks. That's the only thing around here. That's just a piece of plastic, that's just a D-loop. Personally, I would have preferred if that was an aluminium or a metal piece of kit around here, because that takes a lot of load. One thing they didn't get quite right is the location of your stabilizing strap. So anybody who carries a sling bag on a regular basis will know one of the advantages is that you can actually, if that is sitting above the main buckle, you can put it on just like you would put on one side of a backpack. It would just rest on one shoulder and be secured here, and as you carry on and put it on, you just put that buckle in last. Unfortunately, the layout here is not like that, so what you're getting instead is the connection point below the buckle, and that simply has a disadvantage that the only way to put the bag on is to actually lift the shoulder loop over your head, which is, for me at least, not the preferred method to handle a shoulder bag. So if I am to keep it, and I actually might, I think I like it a lot otherwise, that bit is actually going to move to up here somewhere to regain that kind of functionality. If you are one of those guys who doesn't like that accessory strap at all, they included a little bit of a stowaway area around here, so there's just a little hole and you can quite easily just stow your strap away and get away with the clutter that you don't need. So that's all good as well. So coming to the main compartment, and I'm gonna talk about the concealed carry compartment last, but let's talk about the middle compartment. And you can see I'm holding it in a position just the way I would hold it when I have the sling rolled around my body and in front of me, and you can see how easily accessible all my contents, or almost all my contents, are from this position, just having the bag on my shoulder still. And you also get a rough idea how much space is consumed by my EDC items. At the moment I'm carrying the Vanquest first responder pouch, or fat pouch I believe how they call it, as a medical bag or first response bag. Then I migrated all my EDC accessories in that Maxpedition Fatty, and then there's a little Maxpedition micro pouch for my charging cables, bits and pieces. Looking at that, you can see if I expand it, push it out a little bit, there's a fair bit of space, and there's not a lot of organization going on this side, other than on this side they include a strap for securing your notebook. Now personally I would have preferred some kind of padded sleeve sitting in here. It wouldn't have taken up an awful lot more space, but it would have been a nice separation layer between your everyday items and your notebook. If you want to carry a notebook in this compartment here, I suppose you would want to have it in a sleeve to avoid scratches from the rest of your bag's contents. Then you can see around here what we get is our attachment point for a drink bladder, which also would be tied down with this middle strap, which is an option. And then on this side you get your organizational items, a little bit of an admin area, and I believe Vertex also does a series of hook and loop accessories that you can actually attach to this side as well. And this is just a normal zipper pouch. In this case I carry my flashlight charger and flashlight headband in there. Everything else in terms of items I need on a daily basis are really inside my EDC pouch. So I don't rely on these very much, mostly because I'm changing bags a lot, and I don't want to adapt my personal needs to what's available in terms of layout inside the bag. But there's some additional bits and pieces that can happily find a place in here, so that's all good. Whether on this one, I think it makes sense if you have additional organizational needs to attach something to that hook and loop section. It's a nice feature, and I'm glad they actually chose to go with hook and loop. That's really nicely done. So there's a fair bit of volume in here, and there's a bit of a insert inside this area here that you can exchange, and you know already what's coming, against a bulletproof panel. Right, so take it for what you will. If you have that requirement because that's where you live, that's what you're exposed to, maybe you're a personal protection detail, you need that level of protection, it's there. So no complaints there. Having a look at the rearmost compartment, this is a concealed carry, and sorry, excuse me, I find it kind of funny, but there's a couple of videos, so I'm not going to do it on here. But what they're actually putting on that zipper here is an expanded crab handle, and this is just so that you securely, without looking, quite easily make out that zipper. To rip it open fast, you see, I'm not even getting it. Have it come open, and there's your whatever, handgun, submachine gun, rifle, your pick. And this exposes a relatively large area that is lined with hook and loop. And this is where it gets interesting for me. Mostly because I can make use of that hook and loop to organize my stuff very nicely, thank you. So apart from the part of EDC that deals with concealed carry, there is usage for this beyond that, without a doubt. So as you can see, 17 liters, and I still have heaps of space to organize my items. And thanks to Vanquest for having these wonderfully sized and very functional packing cubes that I love a lot. I have them sitting in here just for the sake of illustration, because it's really quite nice. They don't fall around. You can keep them rather compact, or you can expand them. And on this side you have a fair amount of depth. I would say that's probably 30 to 40 millimeters of depth for this compartment, where you can pack a whole heap of things if you're in a pinch, if you had to. And of course this side also could serve as a notebook or laptop compartment, if that was your choice. But I personally like to have a few items in here. Once again, all of this is easily accessible on body. And this is also the area where you can put your bulletproof panel in. They do have another one up here. You can put a second bulletproof panel in. And the idea is that if you open that pack and have it fully exposed, clamshell like that, you almost have a shield for your upper body to protect you from bullet strike or ricochets or what have you. And once again, if you're living in such an area where that is something you have to contend with, my personal argument would be save the money, don't buy that bag, get a ticket, get a moving van, get the hell out of there. But you know, horses for courses, everybody for their own way, they like to do things. If you actually have a requirement for that kind of stuff, it certainly is an interesting feature to have. A backpack that within a couple of hand moves turns into an upper body shield is certainly something that will see some benefit for whoever is in that situation. Me, I'm simply just after the hook and loop, as simple as it might sound, and that is great. Whether that is actually those packing cubes, or whether you choose to put a little bit of hook and loop or a hook and loop and adapter on the back of your EDC pouches, almost doesn't matter, because there's enough space for both. So you're not bulking your pack by putting those in, and it is an incredibly versatile solution. So if you are wondering, you have that on the body, that just falls down. No, that's not quite the case, that's just how I left it. You can see on this side here, very similar to what Maxpedition does on their Entity series, they have a closable G-hook that closes by the means of this little metal strip there, or metal loop, and if you push on it, you compress it, that metal loop just snaps out and opens up, and you can hook it onto this side right there, and that's preventing the bag from going fully open when you're actually having it on body. So that's a nice option to have, to just say, okay, if I want to pack it, I can clamshell open it, but on my body that is not desirable. I don't want it to fall open, I don't want the contents to be revealed like that, and you can hook it up for that purpose, so that works really well. In terms of zippers, I have to say they didn't reverse the zipper, and that is for good reason, and the reason is a reversed zipper doesn't run as smoothly usually as a just regular incorporated zipper. So, but saying that, despite the way they mount their zipper handles, these zippers run really quite smoothly. There's very little complaints on this side either. Overall, I think it's a great bag. It's a great design. I almost feel it's a little bit of a shame that it is marketed so much as a concealed carry item. And I suppose if I was living in the United States and I saw somebody with this particular bag, I would get a little bit worried, because one of the reasons to buy it is because you want to carry a submachine gun or a carbine that fits into it, and certainly that would produce a certain level of discomfort in me, and it would also kind of for people in the know, it kind of puts a highlight on you. It kind of says, look at me, I need that, and for what do I need it? And whether that is a level of attention that you want to attract is an entirely different matter. Around here in New Zealand, That's just not a thing. I don't think anybody on the street would recognize this bag as a concealed carry item, and or as a concealed carry bag, and so that's not an issue at all. Great EDC bag, I have to say, with a number of shortcomings. The biggest one for me is perhaps the way they do their support strap on this side, which is not quite ideal. But other than that, I'm really happy to have gotten that, especially at the price point. I'm considering to get one of the newer versions, just because I would be missing out on the external water bottle holder. But other than that, I think changes to the bag are relatively little. And I have to say, if you have a chance in a shop or somewhere to look at the bag, it's really a great bag, and as a sling, almost perfect. In terms of comfort, the only bag that sits more comfortably for me is the Maxpedition Sitka, which is a little bit better in terms of sling, but in any other aspect, this bag is up there. It's a really nice and good bag, and I would thoroughly recommend it. Keep in mind this kind of a little bit glossy fabric look. It is only with their brighter color choices. If you go for black, you get a nice fluffed up nylon, Cordura kind of nylon. I've got the same bag. I bought it at the same time, the Commuter 2.0 in XL, which is a bigger version of it in black, and it is a very nice nylon, which probably would be my first choice if I had to buy that bag again. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoy my content and you enjoyed this particular review, leave a like or subscribe. There's more content to come. My next video is going to be on the Vanquest Katara 16. I've got a couple of things to say on that one. And yeah, if you like detailed reviews going into the small bits, I know my videos are a little bit longer, but then I'm looking at most details in depth and give you my thoughts on it. So if that's of value to you, please subscribe and visit me again. Other than that, I hope you all have a good weekend and see you next time around. Alright, see ya, bye!